All right, let's kick this off. First off, GM everyone. Great to see so many of our community here. And just want to bring Ignacio up. Ignacio, do you want to say a quick hello?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this AMA on a Friday. Happy Friday to everyone. And yes, I'm Ignacio, the co-founder of Bondex. Thank you to all the Bondens for supporting us all this journey. And I'm here to answer questions and, give more clarity and transparency of the whole TGE process and timing.
Lovely. So today, guys, for everyone listening, we really want to give a chance for people to ask questions. And so what we're going to do is just walk through a couple of the updates, walk through the announcement that we released yesterday. And we're also going to be inviting people up to actually ask questions directly to Ignacio. We really want those questions to come. So please, as we'll be doing it in about 5-10 minutes time, and we want you to kind of put your hand up, and then we've got Daniels who will be bringing people up to ask the questions. And yeah, looking forward to seeing how that goes. But first and foremost, I think where we really want to start here today is going through the announcement that happened yesterday. So in case you missed the kind of top line, it was Bondex yesterday announced that we will be moving the TGE or delaying that TGE. And we'll be delaying that basically due to, actually, I'm going to hand over to Ignacio on this point. Ignacio, what was the announcement yesterday? Maybe just talk us through some of the reasons.
Yes, as everyone knows, our original target date for TGE was this summer, and we postponed it due to the advice of our lead key exchange that is leading our listing process in TGE. And they told us, listen, we're actually shutting down our pipeline of new alts, as is a few of the other 201 exchanges. We do not see the market conditions to be favorable and wanted to wait until at least September to see how the market is doing then. And essentially, as we saw September, we were actually once again ready and waiting to see what the market did. And, it was clear and clear as we went into September that the alt side of the market was really not ready for it. And the exchanges remained basically closed for exchange listings of new alt projects. And these are the top exchanges. And so we decided to once again postpone, this time looking at doing it before the end of the year with a few key events that can affect these things, right? That are not in our control, such as, US elections, for example, the rate cuts, and things that we hope make the market open up and get vibrant, because we are ready. We are actually completely ready to TGE. The last thing that we're missing is the market window, as well as those partners. And yeah, that's the main one. Just for everyone to understand, it doesn't come to us deciding. Yes, we could go on tier 2 exchanges that don't really pay attention to the market conditions or liquidity and trading demand for alts, but then we're really doing a disfavor to everyone, right? It's a lot of external factors and some internal. The external are the tier 1 exchanges having and listing alts, right? Right now, they're all on memes. All the market is really moving around memes and tap games and those big airdrops versus new alt projects. I think the market dynamics have changed for them. Overall market conditions, the macro is bad, and retail investors are not into the market as much. Overall crypto sentiment, all these things, and then the exchanges that will let you list. So all these things are external. The things that we can do internally is keep building really, really amazing features and products, getting more traction, more on-chain adoption. As the project evolves and gets better and better, if we deliver on those things, it won't matter what the market conditions are. Those take time, however. So that's kind of the full update in as short as I can bring it, but I will want to answer more and more questions.
Yeah, really good. And in terms of, Ignacio, one of the things we've seen a lot is people saying, well, what will determine those market conditions? Like, how will we know when Bondex is going to launch? Maybe if you just unpack that a bit more as well.
Yeah, so this is the way I would say it, or what are the things that we're looking for in terms of a market window. There's a few good news on the horizon that could make the whole macro looking better, right? So, but it's really market-wide pressure, altcoin-specific environment, as well as macro factors. But what you're looking at is the top exchanges started listing alt projects that perform well in the market with their launches. And that's what we're looking at. That is our comps, and that's what we determine really those market conditions there. And that's, again, the lead exchanges opening up. And the macro conditions being good. So those are really the major key factors. Market condition, to summarize, market conditions, exchanges opening to new alts, and for example, us having more on-chain adoption so that no matter what the conditions are, the tier 1 exchanges are listing us.
Really good. And maybe just unpack a bit as well. You said Bondex is prepared. We're ready to go. Like we're just essentially waiting on this green light.
Yeah.
What does that look like? Like, how does it look like to say that we're prepared?
So the process for TGE is basically like, I would say in more traditional markets would be like a mini IPO, but it's got a lot of admin, also KYC, security, technical components, as well as marketing and community side of things, right? So it's actually, it requires a lot of bandwidth, focus, and resources. So what does it mean? Having for example, on the marketing side, having a hype calendar, co-marketing announcements that are exciting, creating a great narrative and setting a great narrative. Again, the co-marketing deals and a hype calendar, and also having your community pumped around it. On a technical side, you have to be security very tight. So complete audits of the smart contract audits, civil repelling measures for the airdrop distribution, wallet distribution, and portals for the distribution of the tokens to the community and investors. And then there's also admin and other market things. Like, for example, having market makers ready to operate on all the exchanges that you're initially launching, doing KYB, so know your business, and opening on every single exchange, getting approved by their listings department, which is basically like them doing a lot of due diligence like you, as if they were going to invest almost in the token to approve it, setting up dates with each one of them, setting up budgets for the marketing campaigns on each one. And so that means that we've done all of that. We have the contacts with the top exchanges. They know us very well. They've approved us already on their ICs and committees. We have all the audits in place. The thing that I guess is the last spot is those exchanges and external factors, which are to open up and be ready for new alts. The market conditions need to be good for that to happen and for them open up to their pipeline. Basically an alt season versus just like a bull market or a bear market. It needs to be a bull market for the alts, or a good alt season. And then the last thing is also us to have 3-4 weeks to ramp up calendar, the marketing, the hype, and have our community pumped around it to support us in it. Those are all the elements that require a good TGE.
Really good. And it's expensive as well, right?
Oh, it requires a lot of money. Each exchange has listing fees. You want to have paid advertising. Our KOL army they invested in a KOL round. And so for us, we're lucky we don't have to spend a lot of big budget there. But yeah, it's expensive from a marketing perspective. It's listing fees, marketing on each exchange. It's quite a big investment, yes, for sure, in both time and money and resources.
Really good. So in terms of, when we had in July, we'd actually announced, hey, we're going to go live in July. I think it was July 10th. And then we moved it again. Well, we moved it there for market conditions. Just walk us through kind of what's happened since then. Maybe some of the milestones around Bondex as well.
Yeah, so we're not sitting around at all just waiting for a TGE. In fact, we keep pushing so hard on our roadmap and delivering on product and milestones so that we are actually setting up the TGE for even a stronger, the token for a bigger valuable event and market launch really at the end of the day. So there's a lot of things we did. One, we landed a lot more partnerships, like for example, the Ton mini app we launched on Bunny Blitz, but we also got a grant from Ton, for example, to build another social recruitment related app on the Ton ecosystem, partnering with them, for example. We did a big OKX wallet campaign that resulted in a lot of growth for us and part of our airdrop distribution. And we'll be working for them on the wallet integration for the airdrop distribution, for example. We also reached an all-time high of 1.5 million total active users and above 500,000 daily active users, 2 million fully completed profiles on the Bondex platform, making us the leading actually social consumer app in the entire space. We also launched the app with a new streak functionality, adding to the gamification, the engagement, and also setting up, more batch related and what will end up being soulbound tokens and NFTs that will also help the airdrop season 2 requirements, for example. And we also onboarded really, really large clients from Rarible, CoinMarketCap, or Binance to hire on the platform. So that's providing more jobs and more big clients and partners to the talent platform. Those are all the milestones we've been hitting up. And we have a lot of exciting things coming up shortly that should get everyone excited. And again, setting up the TGE for a bigger event.
Really good. And I just want to remind everyone, we do want to get people up on the stage, just asking questions. We've kind of got 4 people waiting to kind of come up. So I'll bring you guys up in just a moment. But if you do want to come up, just press the request button. The space is here, and come straight in with a question as well. But Ignasio, kind of going back to you, before we kind of open the floor to questions, I'd love you to kind of point us through what you're hoping in terms of TGE, what you're hoping in terms of market, what we're planning to do between now and then. Maybe just kind of paint the picture of the future and the way that you see it.
So something interesting that I'm going to discuss here which is it's actually super confidential when you talk to the tier one exchanges. You cannot publicly disclose where you're going to be listing until even a few weeks before you do so. But I can disclose some of the feedback. And when I talk tier one exchanges, I'm talking Binance, OKX, Coinbase, Upbit. Those are the tier 0, tier 1 exchanges. Also Kraken in terms of reputation. And so those are the ones. So the general feedback on alts, which are alternative projects, is that they need sustainable user growth and community and not rely so much on intrinsic incentives, but also focus on real revenues, real yields that then get passed on with sustainable business models. And that they see the alt market evolving this, basically looking like more traditional startups to really deliver real value. That basically hype narrative is important, but it should not be the main dish of a company. And so that's some of the feedback and not feedback, but sort of guidance that, the exchanges, and this is why we're really well positioned with them, because Bondex is working on a real world problem, disrupting talent exchange, building a new type of social network based on Web3. And that's why they really like us. We have real value. Our incentive system link between the token on the points is clear, and they see us sustainable. So that's why we're strongly placed. And that's something I find interesting. Now, what your questions in terms of what I'm hoping for the TGE? I'm hoping for a strong enough TGE so that we create a really good, valuable event. But also, when you get on those big exchanges, the tier ones, to launch your token, you get a new level of value and liquidity. And that helps you have a more stable token price over the long term, which will then in turn help us those airdrops that are more and more valuable for the community and the users. And then that creates a positive flywheel that they become our strongest, power, community marketing lung, as well as the people who invest in the token. And then, Bondex goes parabolic in terms of growth and gives us, more firepower to also keep building and delivering on the vision of what we're doing, which is building the most trusted social network and leading social network in the world based on Web3 principles and technology. So, there's not really rushing the market. We're not trying to time the market. It's more about when the other external vendors and factors, they say, hey, this is the right time, and allow us to then go to market, because again, we're ready. So that's what I would say. It's some of the things that are happening in terms of trends that are changing the space and how exchanges look at the space. And then what I'm hoping out of the market and the TGE and what I want for it.
Really good. And maybe, actually, before I ask the next question, I just want to give a shout out. We've got all people now who are putting their hands up. So I can see Big G Official, I can see Commentator, I can see Suryai and Gus Mendez. Great guys. We'll be bringing you up in a moment. But last question, Ignacio. In terms of, you hinted towards it there, and we also mentioned it yesterday on the white paper, on the letter. But in terms of what can the community expect to see coming out of Bondex in the next kind of few months?
So what is going to happen in terms of our exciting kind of, I would say, key updates from also product, but also a vision and direction that you're going to be seeing in the next really weeks, and then before, the end of the year, which I think it's going to excite everyone that is currently part of Bondex and its community, but also beyond. Number one is our new white paper, which again is going to set up Vision 2.0 for Bondex. Number two is details around airdrop season 2 are going to be announced soon. We're going to kick that off. It's going to be our biggest and fastest airdrop yet. We're releasing some incredible AI features that are going to help people find roles and apply to them, give them tips, kind of like an AI career coach that can really help them out. And, we're onboarding thousands of new jobs to the platform that people can then use their Bondex profiles to then find and apply for. And it's going to be the central hub for all of the opportunities in Web3. And also it's the beginning of our on-chain features with the Bondex 2.0 platform. We're working on a Bondex passport, a Bondex ID, basically with verified credentials of skills, proof of education, proof of your reputations on Web2 social networks. Like, for example, if you have a Twitter following, your KOL. If you're a designer, maybe it would be your Upwork rating. If you're a coder, it would be your GitHub, Stack Overflow. So it's the beginning of on-chain verification and attestations on the Bondex ID password, as well as obviously, the token. And so there's some of those Web3 features that we're going to be happening. So all of that is happening in the next few months. So be excited. First things, AI features and narrative coming into the mix, white paper with Run Bondex 2.0, and the beginning of us releasing on-chain features before the end of the year. Thousands of new jobs coming, so you're going to be able to find opportunities from your Bondex ID and reputation rating. And lastly, the airdrop season 2 is going to come in hot, and it's going to be our biggest and fastest.
All right, airdrop season 2. And I think as well, we actually mentioned about airdrop season 2 around the connection with streaks. Is there anything you kind of want to just share on that as well?
Yeah, so the streaks, guys, I mean, if you've seen it already, they're kind of, they're fun, and it's very very basic. It's our it's our first iteration on it. It's meant to create more engagement out of the platform, and it's gonna boost basically and reward loyalty to the platform. And the idea is that you earn badges for how engaged you are. You can prove the longevity and loyalty that you have to the platform, and that will reward you. And part of the season airdrop 2 boost that will give you more and more, basically part of the allocation will be earning as many of those badges and streaks as you can.
It's really good. Okay, really good. I wanted to actually now open the floor a bit to some questions, and I'm just going to go through the list. And first and foremost, I'm going to bring up Big G Official. And Big G, once you connect, if you just want to go ahead and ask your question straight away, that'd be great. Do not have him. Big G, do you want to unmute your microphone? If not, I will bring it. There we go.
My main question is concerning the TGE, Bondex TGE. The project has been postponing their TGE for a while. And this space now, I thought and I wish the TGE dates should be released in this space now. But from my observation, no date yet. So when should we expect Bondex? The community now fading, like they're now fading the project. Why? Because the TGE has been postponed. The space community love that TGE announcements. In anything you're doing, don't play with announcements. The community needs that TGE announcement very, very well. So that's what I mean.
Big G, what I would say is that what we've learned is that every time if you give exact dates and parameters, you are making promises that at the end of the day, they don't depend on us, right? They don't depend on the project. They depend on external factors. I cannot predict the market. I cannot predict those tier 1 exchanges opening up their pipelines to new old projects. And so our intention and our target is to launch before the end of the year. Hopefully, if macro trends get better and old projects, we begin an old season, we could be as ready as long as 4 weeks. I'm hoping for October, November, but I don't want to set a specific date. Our intention and our commitment is I want to make it happen before the end of the year. That's my goal. But I don't want to commit because I don't want to create those expectations and let people down. I think I'm already very sorry about all the postponements and having to delay. I'm the first one sorry. The team allocation has the longest vesting. And I want to keep the community happy, so I want to be honest with them. And so instead of setting them a target for them, I want to be honest, guys. Our goal is to do it before the end of the year. I'm hoping for October, November, but I cannot commit to that. The moment that we have a set date, which will happen with one of those tier 1 exchanges that I already mentioned, who I think is a tier 1 exchange, they tell us, hey guys, we're ready to go. Then the other exchanges we have lined up, and you can see who our exchanges are by just looking at who we've been partnering with and doing campaigns with, then we will go for it. But setting up an exact date, it's not a great idea.
Thank you. I've heard what you said. But this comment that you made, that you will launch before the end of the year, well, it's fine. We'll keep waiting, sure.
I mean, again, this is my intention. This is what we want to make it happen, right? But again, this is not set in stone. My goal is to do it before the end of the year.
Really good. Okay, I'm going to bring up Guzman. So Guzman, Big G, first and foremost, thanks so much for your question there. It's really, really appreciated. And we're bringing up Guzman now, which I think you should be live. So once you're live, let's just undo your mic icon and just go ahead and ask your question. In true Twitter spaces, we've been rugged by Guzman. Okay, so Guzman, no worries. I'm going to bring up a commenter. And commenter, once you're ready, just unmute your mic and you should be able to then go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, what I am asking here is that most of the communities have less than thousands Bondex points, and you said the airdrop is vesting, and the amount that you are going to unlock during that year is very little. Do you think that with most of the community has less than 1,000 Bondex points, do you think that the amount of percentage that you are going to release at the TGA we're going to be very good, or we're going to satisfy them? Do you think that we're going to satisfy them?
I believe so. I think that the way that the airdrop works is we have 3% being unlocked for the community as an airdrop, and 10% of that is unlocked at the very TGE, and then after that you have a 9-month vesting. So I think that they will be very satisfied with the value over the 9 months that they will unlock. I think that vesting is necessary and sustainable. Otherwise, you could have, instability of the chart. And if you get a red chart, you're done. That's why we haven't really gone to market to date. And that's really proven to be the right decision. And you know why? Because, I don't know if you guys have seen, but anything that listed this year that is an old project has declined over 60 to 80%, right? Bitcoin is even down 80%, Ethereum is down 36%. If we would have listed and the airdrop, which is now worth at $80 million valuation, 3%, you can make that calculation, right? It's over $2 million that will be distributed and it'll be ranked amongst the users, right? If you have 1,000 points, but you've qualified for airdrop season 1 and there's, I forget the exact number, I think it's between 100,000 to 120,000. You know, if you have 1,000 points, you will get a fair deal. And also if we all push and buy tokens and the market is good, and we get a good event and we launch on those tier 1 exchanges, I think they're going to be very happy with what they're going to get with the value that they will unlock over 9 months. That airdrop 9 months. And also if they get on season airdrop 2, then even more value. So I think they will be satisfied, but it's a question of meritocracy. What you've seen in bad launches with big airdrops that were unsustainable, and there's some big projects that have happened and have struggled with this, is that then the community, like, you know, it's very angry, but then what you need is sustainable reward systems so that you have longevity and you create more value for them over time. It's not a quick buck all at once. That's unsustainable. And that's just relying on speculation and tricks and rewards. And I think that's the playbook of meme coins and the tap games, and that works for them. But not if you're an old project working on a real world problem like we are, which is disrupting talent and professional networking.
Okay. So Binance bring out the new rules saying that any token that want to give wanted set in Binance, they have to release good amounts of allocation to their community, which is going to be that. Do you think with this little allocation, do you think Binance will agree to this, you guys?
Actually, that's a false, sorry, I disagree with you. That's not true. Binance does not make it a requirement to do a massive airdrop listing to the community. That's not true. In fact, Binance, and we do communicate with them, and you know, they're actually one of the clients that is using the platform. Actually, you know, I believe they look for sustainable airdrop models. If you're a meme coin or a tap game, it makes a lot of sense for you to be having a massive airdrop. If you're an old coin, you know, I think you can I recommend you go to the Binance portal and you go to one of their latest research articles that's called, you know, the crude reality, you know, reality check, the importance of providing real value and how big airdrops that are not sustainable actually are bad for long-term sustainability of the project, and they don't like projects like that. So I disagree with you. That's not true.
Awesome. And Commenster, I'm just going to have to remove you here just because we've got so many people now waiting to ask questions. But thank you so much for your questions there, your 2 questions. I'm now going to invite Akan if you want to unmute yourself, Akan, and if you want to go ahead and ask your question directly to Ignacio.
So my question goes on the Bondex app, because I see that the Bondex app is kind of a freelance app for jobs. But my question is that after the TGE, what is your mechanism or what's your plan towards using your token? Is it going to be used as a utility token for freelancers to get paid? I want to really understand the sustainability of your project.
I'm about to cry. A question that is actually related to the product and the token economy. I love you, Akan. Like, I'm so happy that you're thinking about this. So we're not working on freelance opportunities at the moment. We've actually tackled permanent jobs first. There's other people working on freelance, and we will eventually open up to fractional job opportunities. Our idea is to have task-based social opportunities for every type of audience. We'll have fractional work, for example, apart from following things on Instagram, trying new apps, joining campaigns, joining other airdrops for external projects. We'll have then fractional work that is more freelance-based, like maybe bounty bug problems, moderation, Q&A apps. And then there's also the permanent jobs, right? So the app is, the Bondex token is linked to the amount of bond points that you earn. The bond points are meant to be a reputation currency that you earn, and that then you use to apply to jobs, for example, exchange it for the tokens, and have a ranking that determines the amount of token allocation that you get on a quarterly basis. You can also use this to access economic opportunities, like, for example, recruit to earn bounties. And when we open freelance opportunities, it'll also be used to put a bid on the line to access those freelance opportunities. Then over time, it'll also be used to for you to pay for the premium subscriptions, for example, and for companies to also pay for those subscriptions. But we will do it with a seamless off-ramp. So people will pay in cash, then it'll be converted, especially when it's companies or people that are not as crypto savvy. We want to be a bridge for Web 2 users into Web 3. And then that will become the subscription money, locking the token in, creating more value on it. And then our long-term plan as we become, basically the premier social and professional network in the space is for the tokens to, for us to become basically an app chain layer and also have, basically gas fees that create even more value into the Bondex token. So there's a lot of utility, and you're going to find out more and more. I think I already slipped. I gave a few things that we have not disclosed yet that will be available in the new white paper, as well as the new token economy that we'll be releasing before the end of the month.
Really good.
Thank
you for asking that. It's great. Guzman, we found you. You are live. You keep unmuting, which is great. Do you want to go ahead, Guzman, and ask your question? And thanks again, Akan, for asking that. Guys, please just put the request in if you want to speak, and I'll bring you up. And when you do come up, mute yourself first and then unmute when I give you a shout out. But for now, Guzman, go ahead. GM.
Okay, what I just wanted to say is that this is not the first time you guys are postponing the TGE, and we understand that the market is really bad. And what I just wanted to say is that you should not be scared of the market, because Bondex have a very strong utility. And I almost lost hope, but still, I still believe in Bondex, and the Bondex community believe in you guys, and hope that this TG is not going to be postponed again. And what I don't want you to say, that I just wanted to know, don't you guys have the specific date for the TG, even just to give us hope? Yeah, because this guy have already we're meant to launch this July, but you postponed it despite giving us the specific date.
Guzman, I'm sorry, but listen, I'm really sorry about the postponements. I'm sorry about delays. No one likes delays. The community is frustrated. I'm frustrated by having to delay. But you're repeating questions that we've already answered today, and we had other speakers. This has been answered in detail. I don't think it's fair to repeat ourselves over and over again, right? Because we should get questions that expand the knowledge to the community of what is going on. Now, I don't have a specific date that we're setting, because I don't want to set expectations, right? What I said is our target is before the end of the year. What I said is that we need exchanges and other external factors to line up. It does not depend on us. It depends, as what you said, the current market conditions are really bad. And I disagree with you. We do have to try to time the market and create the best possible window, because that opens up the best exchanges, which we're already approved with, and therefore that will create a massive TGE and valuable event. That will be good for the community, because they're going to have more valuable Bondex tokens, not just at the start, but over the 9 months that they unlock happens. So listen, I completely get it with you, and I'm really sorry that there's any postponing ever. I hate to create any frustrations. I hate to create disappointments. This has already been answered, and I'm just repeating that myself, but let's get other questions in there.
Okay. Thank you.
Guzman, thanks so much for your question. I'm actually now going to bring up Chin May. And guys, please keep putting the request to speak. We've got a huge queue here, so we'll be firing through. But Chin May, you are live. If you want to unmute yourself and drop us a GM and go ahead and ask your question.
I want to ask, is Bondex listing on Binance?
Yes. So Binance, if you have an offer from any of the top tier 1 exchanges, including Binance, and you disclose that publicly, they will remove your offer. So whether you have one or not, it must remain completely confidential. So I will never be disclosing the agreement or the confirmation of the largest exchanges before it happens. I think you're allowed. They have to announce it first. The exchange has to announce it first, and then they only do it about maybe a week or 2 weeks before the actual TGE listing event. So none of the tier 1 exchanges will be announced before then, and it has to remain completely confidential.
Awesome. Thanks, Ignasio. The Babalo. Thanks for joining. Drop us a GM, and you want to go ahead and actually just direct your question to Ignasio. Just unmute yourself first.
Okay, a quick one. So if the market, I do understand the external factors, but the tax applies, does it mean we will not see the TGE this year, or the team is going to do everything possible to ensure that the TGE happens?
We are going to do everything in our power to make it happen within this year, but we cannot control the market. The conditions do not depend on us. What we can control is working on the product, the traction, partnering with bigger and bigger ecosystems, bigger companies, releasing more and more exciting features. That's what we can control, and that's what we work on, right? And we deliver. We deliver on those partnerships. We deliver on those big companies. We deliver on the traction, the growth, the features. That's what we can control, and that's what we work on. But again, I cannot control the market. I cannot control what the big exchanges do, and I can't control or predict the conditions.
Thanks, Ignasio. I'm going to bring up, I've just brought up Andrea, but it looks like you've not showed up, so not a problem. Next up, I'll be bringing up Tony Universe. And Tony, once you are live, you just want to unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question. I'm not seeing that you've accepted the request there. So we have a very full queue here, guys. So I'm working through as fast as we can. Next up, then I'll bring up Silent. Oh, we've got Andrea up now. Andrea, do you want to just drop us your question, unmute yourself, and go ahead and ask Ignasio your question?
Concerning this Bondex of thing. This TGA you guys are just postponing, you get, doesn't make any sense to the community. First and foremost, you guys have postponed, have done this for like 3 years now. Keep on joking with your communities and you bring on silly excuses on board for what? It doesn't make any sense for doing that. You get me back. You are just playing with community. All these things you are just saying there is just a trash shit. You get. So what I have to tell you now is you're a scammer.
Hey, Andrea, I'm down.
Are you getting me? You're a scammer.
I'm down to have a proper conversation with you about it. You're an airdrop hunter, and you want the portion of your airdrop, and you want it soon. Okay. You said that we're shit and we're scammers because we've postponed. 2021 was FTX Alone collab. The 2022 or 2023 we wanted to do it. We got approved for CoinList, so we did a massive launch pad that set us up for bigger exchanges and a bigger TG event. And now we're having to postpone because the exchanges have advised us to move to a better alt season, right? So if you have any intelligent points, I'm down to hear them, but I don't think you did. And again, I hate any from the bottom of my heart. I'm the first one that wants to get the token listed, and I hate anything that the community feels that is negative about it. But when I get called scammer, when there's a product that keeps evolving, more users that keep using it, more big partnerships, because people want to make a quick buck, and I just don't agree with it. And if people have smart things to say, like, I'm all ears. If you guys have more ideas of more things we can do to reward the community for having this patience on us, like, you guys are being very patient. We've had to delay. I'm all open to listen to ideas of what would be exciting for the community apart from airdrop season 1. How can we reward your patience? For example, CoinList investors are getting an extra kicker for their patience. Like, I'm all ears. If people have constructive things to say and give us ideas of how to reward the community for their patience, I'm super down to hear them and implement them. But if people just have insults and disrespect and they don't really have valid points, they just want it because, they just want a few bucks immediately instead of making more money over the medium and long term, I just cannot agree with it.
Agreed. And thanks, Ignasio. Guys, we've got 15 minutes left on this AMA. And I just would do remind everyone, just no swearing, kind of keep this one clean and keep it PG, kid-friendly and all the rest. We don't, as Ignasio said, we really want to keep this as constructive as possible.
One thing for me to say about, I understand the community gets angry about postponing and frustrated. And when people comment FUD and scammer when there's a real product working and helping people get hired for jobs and helping companies find talent, what I will say to everyone is that, we're human, we're the team, we're actually the ones that are the last ones out of the boat, where our vesting goes all the way for 4 years, right? And so we're unlocked over 4 years. We're the last one. It's in our best interest to launch as soon as possible if we were just looking to unlock as fast as possible. And we're human. There's 25 full-time employees here. And so when people say those things without really the fundamentals or proper arguments or things that we can listen to and listen to the community, their feedback and implement it, they're just saying, hey, you suck because you're postponing, and they don't listen to our reasons and our explanations. They don't give us a chance. We're a human team of 25 people working very hard, and it's very sad for the team. And I would just hope that, the community listening here helps us, understands and that we are, the best thing that they can do for the project, even if they're frustrated, is support it at this time, because the better the community and the sentiment is there, the better the TGE is going to be when we get to list. So it's in your own best interest to support us at this time. That's just what I wanted to say quickly before we proceed.
Thanks, Ignacio. And we've got another community member up here, Benedict. You want to just drop us a GM and ask a question, and then straight after you, we've got Digi10X. But first, Benedict, just unmute yourself and go ahead and ask a question to Ignasio. There we go. So Prosody, you are up. You want to drop a GM, Prosody, and unmute yourself and ask a question to Ignasio.
Okay, hello. Thank you for giving me speak. Right. I have two questions. First of all, I want to say, you have previously gifted a certain percentage to our CoinList investors because of postponed TGE. Will you do this again, or because our investment has been stagnating for almost 5 or 6 months? Also, and one more question, at the TGE, did you discuss the price protection with Jax or not, or will you tweak? Thank you.
Sorry, I caught the first part of the question, but what was the last question? And you're a coinless investor, you said?
Also, previously gifted a certain percentage to investors because of we was funded TGE.
Yes, as you have seen, they sent an email out when we had to postpone in July that all coinless investors were getting awarded an extra 10% of tokens for their investment and for us having to postpone. Furthermore, Coinlist supports us in that postponing, right? And you can just look at the market performance of all old projects, right? The reason for it is that it's also in their best interest that the launch goes as well as possible and they create as much value as possible for their investors.
But if you can, the other question, did you speak price protection with the JEX? Because some JEX, when we are listing our projects, our price going every time down. Will you know about that or not? Thank you.
Yeah, so the price protection, I mean, the exchanges sometimes make you put a deposit so that you have to keep a price above a certain level for a certain amount of time and days. Maybe it's like 30 days, maybe it's like, 6 months, your price cannot go below it. How can you defend it? Sustainable tokenomics, good distribution, generating enough buying demand. But I don't think you can just manage limits unless you're doing wash trading, and that's up to the market makers. But, that's not something the project controls. What the project can do to place it as best as possible, not to go below a certain price, is have good tokenomics, create a lot of pressure and demand for the token, and listing on the biggest exchanges possible. And that's what we're working on and we're doing. That was a very smart question.
Yeah, thank you, Mehmet. Really good question. And I'm going to bring up Prosody now. And after you, Prosody, we've got Tony Universe coming up as well. If you want to go ahead and unmute yourself. Prosody.
GM, everybody. GM. First of all, I want to thank Bondex team. I know how hard is a project like this. So I really want to thank you all. Keep building. I wanted to ask about the TGE. The TGE, I received a message that it was going to be postponed to another, I don't know which day. That's just my question. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think we've number one. Thank you for the kind words. They're so appreciated, Prosody. Really, really appreciate them. The TGE guys, since we only have 10 minutes, I want to answer as many questions as possible. We're trying to do it before the end of the year. I think that you need to look at the macro trends and try to guess when is going to be a good window for the crypto market. Let's say that, hypothetical, on the 18th of September, the Fed in the US cuts rates by 25 basis points, and that wakens up the retail investor demand for risk assets in both the stock market and the crypto market. Alt season gets strong, and then in October and November, leading up to the US election, that also influences the crypto market due to the potential new frameworks and regulations that will come, giving clarity and enabling a lot more mass adoption, that the market starts to perform strong. Those tier one exchanges begin opening their pipeline of new old projects. There's enough demand for them. There's enough liquidity and trading for them that we could go in October and November. We want to try. This all depends on what I've described. I'm trying to predict the future here, which I cannot predict the future. But in that world, we can get ready to trade and to list in about 3 to 4 weeks, because everything is set from an admin, legal, security, technical perspective. It's about generating enough hype and enough of a marketing push to have a good launch event, and that does take 3-4 weeks leading up to a listing date. But because we've already become ready once and everything is set, it will only take us a few weeks now. It also depends on the slot the exchanges decide. If they say, hey, we are also, because there's a lot of projects waiting to go. There's a lot of projects like us that have delayed and are waiting for good market conditions. So the field is going to be also more crowded. That's why we need our community pumping us up and helping us make noise and pump everyone up about Bondex, because the exchanges choose where in the slot and where in the pipeline you get to go. And again, if you're going for one of those tier one exchanges, they choose. These are all external things to us. What we can do is what we can control, which is be ready, keep delivering on product and roadmap. And then if the external market factors are good and the exchanges give us the right slot in this time frame, but I cannot predict the future. So I cannot make assurances and I cannot make commitments I cannot control.
Really good. Tony Verse, we've got you up here and want to go ahead, unmute yourself and ask your question and drop us a GM.
All right, GM, everyone, thank you so much for the opportunity to ask my question. Okay, I want to say a very big thank you to Ignasio. You're doing a fantastic job on Bondex. I received a mail, it was yesterday or 2 days ago,
concerning the update on TGE. And I also want to commend you moving over to integrating Ton Chain rather via Bunny Blitz. And also I discovered that we have 500,000 new users from there. So I want to ask this. Firstly, is there a way we can leverage on Ton network because from the newsletter I received yesterday, you said, of course, obviously the market conditions not being favorable to launch, the fluctuations and high volatility of liquidity in the markets and all that. So I'm asking, is there a way for us to, with these 500,000 members coming in from Ton network, to leverage on them or to in order to enhance our launch? I mean, is the 500,000 new members that are coming from Ton Network not affecting the rate that we are launching fast or early enough? Then secondly, I want to know the delays due to the market condition. Is it also going to reflect on the change in white paper in terms of vesting and all that? So is there going to be any changes or modifications in the white paper due to the delays from these unstable market conditions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
These are great questions. I love it. I love people that do their homework. I love people that think strategically and see the different products and initiatives and tactics that we're using and wonder about how this affects the entire thing. I love it. Tonyverse, honestly, fantastic. So yes, we are working with the Ton ecosystem hand in hand. And this is because, as you said, right, the only things that are getting a lot of traction now are the mini apps and the Ton apps. Now, Bunny Blitz for us is a new way of, one, getting people interested in getting us exposure, a marketing tactic, and also a new way of rewards distribution. We listened to the community, and when they said that our requirements for the airdrop season 1 were too high, inviting 3 other users, having them fill their profiles, some people were not interested in jobs, we were thinking, okay, well, people came here for the tap, kind of, the earning, the mining, and the airdrop hunting. Like, what can we make for them? Well, oh, look, Ton mini apps, and we're working with Ton. They're good for this. So maybe that audience, those users that we have, would be more interested in participating in the mini app, and then get the token rewards and airdrops that will come through the mini app tap game. And that way, we're keeping our community happy. Those type of users and that audience will be happier than interacting with the full. Or they can do both, which is what they should do if they want to get as many tokens as possible and help the entire project, right? Like, the more valuable Bunny Blitz is, the more valuable Bondex is, and the more valuable the Bondex tokens are, the more valuable that the airdrops and the rewards and Bunny Blitz will be, right? So that is our marketing tactic, was, for those users to come and enhance TGE of the Bondex. And because it's one of the hot trends, we wanted to jump on it. And it's not the only thing we're developing with Ton. We're also developing a few other things, like a jobs channel and also a bounty-based job portal, a mini app, in which people are going to be able to do social degen trading using Ton tokens to print referral links. And then every week they'll get rewarded for the best candidates that got introduced. So we are doing, many efforts with them. We got a grant from them to develop the social recruitment mini app, for example. And the idea is that, but to give you an idea, the projects that are getting listed, like Hamster Combat, Dogs Just Got Right, Bloom, all those guys have many millions of users. So Bunny Blitz needs to scale. It's still very young. It needs to scale. It needs to do well, and it would have to get into the millions of users. But then, does it make sense to issue its own token and have dual token rewards there of a Bunny Blitz token? There's many questions. It's it's us innovating and integrating, and it's still a long way to go for it to really affect the TGE. But I believe that by the time we're TGing with all the updates and things that we're pushing forward in the next few months, it has a good shot at it. Plus, we'll be partnering with some of other, tap games out there and increasing the growth on that. And yes, I think, exchanges ultimately will look at that user base. They will look at the engagement on our Ton mini app, and they will judge not just the fact that we're able to build more utilities and more things to enhance and expand the ecosystem offering of Bondex, but also look at the amount of engagement and community that we have on that channel as well. It's a great question.
Yeah, fantastic question. And we're going to end things there, Tony. Thank you for dropping us with 2 good questions right at the end to close things off. And few announcements from my side is, first and foremost, guys, if you are not subscribed to the Bondex announcement channel on Telegram, please go ahead and do. There's a link in our bio. There's also, it's the easiest way to search for Bondex announcements in Telegram. It's a brand new channel, and it's be the first place that we're putting any announcements Bondex related. They'll always go there first, and we want to make sure you have those. The other thing is, we want to do this more regularly as well. So we're putting a little vote in to see how regularly you think we should be doing these AMAs, these questions. I think it's great, especially as we are now, waiting on those market conditions to turn and getting prepared to launch, like Ignacio said, within weeks of the market conditions improving. But yeah, thank you all for your questions. Ignacio, I'm going to throw it to you for the final say, and then we'll close the spaces out.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to thank you very much, honestly, for the questions. I'm immensely grateful for the support of the community throughout our whole journey over the last 3 years, for the new and old users, for everyone that supports the project. I just want to say thank you to everyone. I know that delays are not fun. I appreciate the patience and I appreciate the support. I work extremely hard and the team works extremely hard. We are 25 people working on marketing, business development, tech, product, growth. We work tirelessly as a team. We work very, very hard to make Bondex a reality, execute its vision. We do it to deliver on the vision of the project, and we have the community very much in mind. And I just want to thank you guys. And, now is the time where we need you the most during tough times. It's essentially, market conditions are great. There's basically a bear market for alts, and having the support of the community and helping us, there's a real community, right? And, there's bots from farmers that are trying to civil attack and airdrop farm the tokens, and they make a lot of noise in the channels. So when the true community stands up for us, and they're able to look at the long-term and medium-term value that we're trying to generate for them with these strategic moves, they help us a lot. So that's all I would have to say for them is thank you so much. And this is the time to rise up and make Bondex shine.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I think that was around about 15 people we had up on stage, 15, 16 questions. Thanks, everyone, for those questions. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.
Thank you very much, guys.